capital improvement fund, and I will let the mayor take over the capital improvement fund. This is a lot more interesting than the stuff that I've been talking about. So I
If
haven't bored you.
you could just kind of go through the slides and I'll just
Yeah.
follow. So the capital improvement fund, when you look at the revenue side, you can see the income tax fund as we transfer money out of our income tax fund or our general fund into our capital improvement fund. So 76% of our revenues, what you're going to find out, and this is what we've been talking about for the last several years, when you talk about the infrastructure projects that we've done throughout the city, 76% of the dollars that we have coming in to the capital improvement fund come from state and federal grants. So when the public keeps asking you as council members and me as the mayor, what are we doing for our local infrastructure, for repaving streets, right? This has been a hot topic over the last 10 years. If you could hit the next slide. We're going to hit a couple highlights here of some things that are going to come out of our capital improvement fund this year. The public sometimes may not understand that the flood wall along the river is something that the city of Fremont maintains. So under the water reclamation plant, the employees in that department, not only do they make sure that we are in compliance with the EPA at the water reclamation side of things, they also contribute to maintenance of the flood wall. So this year, there's going to be approximately $70,000 worth of inspections and things that have to be done throughout the flood wall for penetrations and storm water system on that. The HP Young Industrial Park, we are in the process of getting power out there. We need phase 3 electricity out there. Those lots are split between 2 different power companies out there. And Mr. Gross is really leading this initiative and working through making sure the power that gets out there. I will tell you that we have some very strong leads and we're working hard, and there's going to be some exciting news to come on that industrial park. Berkshire Park improvement projects, I'll talk about that a little bit later this evening, maybe the next slide actually. But $87,000 of soft cost needs to be added to the budget this year for the design of what the concept of Berkshire Park is going to look like. These efforts have really been going on behind the scenes with Berkshire. I shouldn't say behind the scenes, we've had a lot of public meetings on them and even outdoor public meetings. And the city has received $600,000 in grants already for this project, and we're looking at finalizing that project. In fact, I'll just talk about it now. We're in the process right now as we speak. We are working on it today on submitting a grant to Senator Bill Reinecke and also State Representative Gary Click for additional funding to the $600,000 of grant dollars we've already received. We're going to use those $600,000 as matching dollars to the state capital request. In fact, myself, the Safety Service Director, Mr. Gross, had a meeting with Representative Click today and went over the project that we were going to submit to him. We've been very successful at landing capital improvement projects in our parks. And remember, a lot of these dollars from the state side can't be used for just blacktop on roads. So if we don't go after these projects for parks and other things, then we just may not get those dollars. We do have support letters from the Sandusky County Visitors Bureau, the Hayes Presidential Library Museum, the Sandusky County Historical Society, Downtown Fremont Inc., and I know there's a few other letters of support, the Berkshire Historic Neighborhood District, and a few others that are in support of that project. We believe that we have positioned the city of Fremont very well strategically to give our legislators information to be able to return those dollars back to Fremont.
Quick question.
Yes.
Does that $87,000 you just mentioned fall into the grant funds, or is that an expense to the
I
city?
think it's on the next slide.
It might be on the next slide. That's a good question. I believe, Mr. Gross, do you have that answer? I think we can use some of those dollars, but we have to pay for some soft costs.
We can use the grant for soft cost, but we have to be careful because the grant request was for a shelter house, restrooms, and playground equipment, and we want to honor the grantees' wishes to help the city construct those. So we can, but I think in conversation overall, we want to protect the $600,000 for actual construction, and then the city would absorb some of the soft costs.
or a portion of that. So that has not been finalized because we don't know for sure where the final funding number is gonna come in at. The project's broken down into phases, so depending on whether that phase one, what type of, for example, what type of shelter house we get, are we able to cut costs on that to reduce the local spending dollars? But even at $87,000, if we do contribute that, 87,000 to a $1 million, almost $1 million, $1.6 million in grants that we're looking at, I mean, it's less than a 10% match from our own city dollars. So to be able to spend that
So
amount of money.
1.6 million that you know you're going to receive, or is that a possible?
Well,
You have 600,000 now.
yeah, we have 600,000. We're writing for these additional dollars, and if we get those additional dollars, then we'll be able to either continue with the vision, or we'll just have to cut back. But we have to budget this money now to have the soft cost. We have to have the work done, which is the soft cost of design, in order to even be able to apply for the grant. But there is a chance that we could use the grant towards all of it or a portion of the soft cost.
And I'm only asking these questions because you do, as we all understand, there's been a lot of community conversation about this.
Sure, no, it's a great question.
And I just want it to be very transparent for anyone that's watching tonight.
Yes.
That's why I'm asking these questions.
And those haven't been, no, they're great questions. We don't want to mislead anyone.
No, it's nothing about misleading, it's just being transparent and giving
Well,
everyone as much information
Sure,
as possible.
and that's why I want to talk about the project a little bit, and I was going to do it separately, but it was just the opportunity I thought was now. So we are still not in the final phase of what the final number of what that project's going to look like, and then what grant dollars we might receive to be able to complete that project.
I think it's important to note, and I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence, I'm sure you all know, but for the purpose of a public meeting, what soft costs actually are. That's the engineering, the design, the layout, the planning. That's when I say there's a soft cost for a project, like Oak Harbor Road or Hayes Avenue will have a soft cost, that's your engineering. That's so you can put boots on the ground, so to speak. So I just thought I'd say that for the public's knowledge.
If you could go to the next slide. So this is a slide that I think everyone in this room should be very proud of. These are the projected projects for infrastructure projects over the next several years that City Council has blessed the administration with, that we've all worked hard together applying for. So Oak Harbor Road, we've announced that's going to be done. That's a $2.3 million project with funding of $189,662,000 coming from local, out of the $2.3 million project, it was funded by $1.5 million in federal funding. As you look through this slide and you look down, the final number, we, the city, our administration has secured over $15 million in state and federal grants to improve infrastructure roads throughout the city, with approximately $3.4 million coming from local dollars. Now, don't mistake what I'm saying here. I understand that state and federal dollars are all tax dollars, but to be able to receive over $15 million in state and federal dollars and contribute approximately 3.4 of local dollars, the good thing about this is we are applying and we're being awarded these grants. The bad thing about this is, for the council members, most of us have been here now for the last 5 years, 6 years, we talked about the income tax revenues. The revenues still haven't outpaced inflation. So that's the one thing we got to remember. The inflation cost is still outgrown our revenues. So on these projects of $15 million, and we're contributing $3.4 million, to put it into perspective, we would like to spend about $500,000 to $600,000 a year on resurfacing side streets. Like we did last year, we spent approximately $400,000 to $500,000 resurfacing some side streets. We're not able to do that this year, because some of the funding that we used last year was funding that took 2 or 3 years to build up to be able to make another $400,000 investment into our streets. So with these grants, on average, you can assume there's a 20% match. So if we don't put in the 20% and budget for that 20% match, then we're not going to be able to obtain the $15 million and we would have only be spending $3 million instead of the $15 million. Yes, we can do work with $3 million, but that's where your local and side streets would be getting resurfaced. With these grants, we have to apply the grant to the area of the city where the grant will be compliant with. And they score these grants, and there may be an area that may not be the worst area, but it scores the highest based off traffic studies, business attraction, whether it's a entrance point into the city or whether it's used as an area where primary of safety responders, whatever the requirements are, and we try to apply for those grants. And it doesn't mean they don't need done, they just may not be the worst street in town. Is there any questions about this?
So I don't see this in our budget book. Will these slides be provided to us? I think this is one of the most important slides for our consideration, just because of the
Absolutely.
breakdown.
You do not have this, the slide?
I don't think Paul hit it. Paul's
Okay.
ill, and when he left,
We
he
can
had
email
every
you the
intention
whole
to be here,
PowerPoint.
we can get him to you
Okay.
for sure. I can send you this very PowerPoint.
It might be in your email, because it might have just came in late, because I thought I saw it in my email.
It could be. Either way, I've got it.
But you're correct, this is a very important slide, and I have put this information out, and I try to put it out routinely to the public on how we're paying for some of these projects. Just real quick, before we move forward on that, I'm gonna shift to Council President Hafford, and if you would, please read that letter out loud. One of the things that I wanted to transition into tonight as we continue to move through this budget is myself, the Safety Service Director, and Auditor Graw have been working on another potential opportunity with the engineer, and I planned on having a resolution in front of council tonight. We have found out that there's some earmarked congressional dollars that are going to become available, and we are project ready. And between the last meeting and this meeting, these dollars became available, so I was hoping to get a resolution, but this request is due Monday, so there's only like 12 days to even get this request in, which is why it's so important for cities to be project ready when you submit these requests. And I am asking for city council members, since you cannot vote and pass a resolution, I'd ask the council president to read the letter out loud. It's a support letter, and I'm asking for all of your signatures on the letter tonight, so that way we can include this in our request that we will be submitting Monday. One of the things that we've been working on, as council knows, is the West State Street project. We've received millions of dollars in state and federal dollars to redo West State Street, and many have asked, well, what about East State Street? Well, over the past several years, my administration has spent a lot of dollars on the east side of town. In fact, we spent close to $400,000 last year resurfacing roads. We've done infrastructure work on many different neighborhoods, water and sewer projects throughout the city. And there's been other initiatives on the city. Bloom Road has had major upgrades to support economic development opportunities over there. And as we continue to work through the West State Street project, we have also simultaneously shifted in what we are calling the East Side Revitalization Project. And Madam President, you have the letter, if you can read that out loud.
Dear Senator Houston, I am pleased to offer this letter of support for the FY27 congressional directed spending request submitted by the City of Fremont for the East Side Revitalization Project. It is my understanding that the city is seeking $5 million in federal funding to support the replacement of aging water lines and the comprehensive repaving of several roadways throughout Fremont's east side. This project includes the repaving of a substantial portion of streets, the installation of significant linear footage of upgraded water lines, and the rehabilitation of multiple sewer manholes. These improvements are essential to restoring structural integrity to the city's water infrastructure while advancing long overdue road repairs. Together, these enhancements will improve safety, minimize vehicle damage caused by potholes, and create smoother and more efficient travel for residents, visitors, and emergency services. Investing in upgraded utilities and modern roadway infrastructure is vital for ensuring equitable access, strengthening neighborhood stability, and protecting property values. Replacing outdated water lines will ensure safer drinking water, reduce the risk of leaks, eliminate deteriorating or potentially hazardous pipes and improve overall system efficiency. These upgrades also help prevent water loss, support increased demand, and mitigate future damage to roadways and surrounding properties. Neighborhood road improvements provide long-term benefits that go beyond basic maintenance. High-quality streets serve as connectors within the community, supporting local businesses, improving traffic flow, and creating safer pathways for drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists. Modernized roadways and utilities play a crucial role in enhancing quality of life and ensuring the city can continue to grow and thrive. We appreciate your thoughtful consideration of this much-needed funding request and respectfully ask that you give it full and fair review. Thank you for your time and for recognizing the importance of investing in essential community infrastructure. Sincerely.
Thank you, Madam President. I would ask the council members that are present tonight if you would sign that along. I will also sign myself, and if we could ask for this congressional request as a united front. We've received, Mr. Gross and Mr. Frost and myself have been working very hard over the last several days getting additional support letters. I think it's important to remind the folks, I view Fremont as one city, and I hate the fact that there's an east side and a west side. I love the river, but it unintendedly creates a division, but both sides of town are just as equally important to me, and I also know the council. And I'm very excited to ask for this federal request. There's no guarantee with any of these projects, but what I do know is if you don't ask them and you don't send them, you don't get them. And I'm very hopeful that I will do everything I can to fight for Fremont and put political pressure on my friends in DC, just like Mr. Leibel did with his congressional ally with Marcy Kaptur and Senator Brown, who did deliver to Fremont as well. And I'm hopeful that my colleagues on our side will also deliver. But I can't do it by myself. I need council support, and we need the public support. We're very excited about this, and I'm hopeful that we can gain a portion of these dollars to come and help revitalize East State Street. These are dollars that we will not have to spend locally, but they're tax dollars. We are using, as I said, there's a 20% match that typically needs to go into these type of requests. And with that being said, the city of Fremont and city council, we've spent more than 20% investing on the east side over the last several years that we will succeed the 20% match. So we're not gonna put anything new in our budget for a match. We're able to use what we've been doing over the last year or two, and we feel very comfortable that we will have that match to be able to put in what we're calling the East Side Redevelopment Project. Are there any questions? Yes.
I know, I'm full of questions.
No, that's okay.
Do you think that $6 million is enough to cover that revitalization of East State Street?
Yeah, so what we've did, great question. We've broken the project down in phases, and we've looked at water and sewer infrastructure underneath, and we've broken it down phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And I don't have the detailed layout with me tonight, but the phase 1 would be from State Street to
From Bridge to Fifth.
From the bridge on State Street to Fifth Street would be phase 1. And in phase 1, that would also include a significant water line replacement project underneath that part of State Street in front of like Anthony's Bar area and down in that area. Phase 2 is what we're calling Fifth Street to Herbster Street. And then phase 3 would be Herbster to the city line. So we strategically plan that way, but we're asking for the full request because sometimes you don't always get the full request. If we can even get half of that, I feel confident that we can make significant improvements on State Street. So the $5 million would definitely get the infrastructure and the road fully resurfaced. And that would also be a 4-inch and not a 2-inch mill and fill. So it would be a very, it's the closest thing that we could get to calling it a complete reconstruct, but it's not a complete reconstruct. It doesn't get curves. It gets blacktop and infrastructure below. So, good question, thank you. Anyone else?
Going to DC tomorrow, I can hand deliver it.
You can? I'll give you a copy to take with you. All right? Well, yeah, you can take the original with you. All right, thank you.
Helps to know people.
All right, so does anyone have any questions for me in reference to any capital improvement projects? And you all understand that Oak Harbor Road is gonna be under construction here coming up over the next couple weeks, and Hayes Avenue is gonna be coming up. And then I will tell you, the Safety Traffic Committee team met, and I'm gonna ask Mr. Frost, were you at that meeting?
Sure was.
If you could just give a couple brief updates on what are some potential changes that are gonna come out of that?
Yeah, so a lot of, I'll tell you what, let's do this instead. Let's go to Hayes and Buckland. So Hayes Center, obviously, right? We all know where this is at. Hayes and Buckland. Buckland from down the hospital, the court limits, basically all the way out. You know, past Miramar Park. That's all going to be resurfaced. The issue that we're running into, or the issue that was brought to my attention, as well as my team's attention, was pedestrian crossings around the Hayes Center. We have several ideas that we are running by the Hayes Center, as well as ProMedica Hospital. We want them involved as too in these projects. One of the ideas is putting in the ped signals, like what we have at when you come across the Miles Newton Bridge and you hit it and it flashes the yellow lights, like what's up on 5th Street. So putting something like that in, and obviously, well, we know for sure that we're going to be repainting all the crosswalks that aren't painted right now once this road gets resurfaced. So we're working very hard with the Hayes Center as well as our team to come up with the best possible solution that we can for the city. I know that even at the corner of when you come up Cleveland and Hayes, where the traffic light is, and it's kind of got that big area that goes off to the east, I guess. We're looking at doing something a little different there too. One of the things that I wanted to point out on the Hayes side, well, I don't know if I don't have a picture of Buckland. Let's just say this is Buckland going down the hill. We are going to recurve that. Now, when you go down the hill on Buckland, you know, you look up at the Hayes Center, and there's the fence, and there's about this much grass, and the poor little deer can't make it over the fence half the time. We're actually extending that out, so because the road is wide enough. So they're going to have a nice buffer area here to where you know, the guy that mows the Hayes Center can actually maneuver a lawnmower through there. Because I don't know if you've ever seen him try to do it, but it's awful. I wouldn't want that job for nothing. It looks like a nightmare. So we're going to extend that out. Now, along the Hayes Center, we're going to put 10-inch curbs up. Normal height for a curb is 6-inch height, which will be on the other side of the road. But where the fence is, we're going to put 10-inch to try to protect the integrity of the fence and the integrity of the beautiful Hayes Center, because it's, you know, it's an important part of Fremont. No water line or anything, since we just did that. We ran the water lines down to the schools. Well, it's been probably 4 or 5 years now, but that'll all be redone. Big improvements up in that area. It's going to be big improvements. I'm actually really excited about that. Now let me flip back to Oak Harbor Road that we were just talking about. So I've got a little map here of exactly what, this question comes up a lot, like where exactly are you starting and stopping on Oak Harbor Road? So I had the engineers produce a map. So basically as you're on and off ramp, and you know, Kroger's here, and then you're on and off ramp, and then all the way down to State Street. This is Moore Street here. That's part of the project as well, as part of the alternative transportation route. That'll have the sharrows on the street, like what we have on Dickinson Street. We share the road with the bicyclists. So that's all going to be redone. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a mess for a while. It's going to be hard to get up and down there. We've had several meetings with the safety teams and EMS and everybody else, just let them know. They're going to try to keep lanes open as much as they can, but there's going to be times where there's going to be detours. Unfortunately, the only good detours we can come up with are going to be at Cedar and Oak Harbor. So when you're coming that way, you're coming south into the city at Cedar and Oak Harbor, you're probably going to be detoured down Cedar to Dickinson Street and then out most of the time. Now,
Mr. Frost, just real quick, I know you've had safety meetings with the team. We have one of our school board members here tonight.
School board, the bus garage was invited. They didn't come to our last meeting.
I was going to
We're
ask,
keeping them
have you
informed.
been communicating with Fremont City
Yep,
Schools?
absolutely.
Okay.
They've been invited to our meetings. Sometimes it shows up, I think it's the last one they couldn't show up at.
Okay.
But we keep them informed with everything we got going on, or try to as much as possible, because this is definitely going to affect the buses at least for, a month or
so.
two, you know.
Thank you.
I would also note that if we know anybody driving semi-truck, there's specifically, Dickinson is not a semi-truck.
Oh, I forgot we have to
So
change it, didn't we?
There'll be expensive citations handed out for semi-trucks that use Cedar Street to Dickinson Street.
There's going to be a detour
It's
the other
not-
way.
Yeah, it's a
for
separate
semi-truck.
detour for semi-trucks.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Have you also anticipated people just going through Potter Village?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been discussed. So, that'll be a good project, though. That'll be really good. The water lines and stuff are getting replaced in there too, which are desperately needed. And I don't know how much or how close you pay attention to what our water sewer maintenance people do on a day-to-day basis, but I'm gonna say that they're out there repairing that line at least twice a year, because it just keeps breaking. It's old. It needs replaced. They get like that.
About how long is it gonna take you to fix the road, to do the road work there?
So we gotta start with the water line first. The whole project, they're gonna start here probably within the next month. You'll see some activity out there. They gotta replace the water line. Once the water line's replaced, then we can go back after the road. This project should be done by June, first part of June.
Will all of those streets be blocked off at the same time? So I'm thinking of like businesses, like the couple of banks that are there, Fremont Ballet.
Great question, great
Ideal.
question. This actually came up.
Okay.
I'm glad you asked, because I would have completely forgot to mention it. No, they are not gonna, if they have to block off somebody's driveway, it's only gonna be temporary, and it will not be for an extended amount of time. So they're trying to make sure that you can access the businesses at all times. If they happen to be blocking off a driveway, it'll be, just hurry up, get what you need to do, and they'll throw a plate over it so people can get in and out. But they'll try to provide alternative routes.
Okay.
That actually came up. On the Potter Village side, it's not really that big of a deal, because there's like, 4 or 5 entrances into Potter Village off of Oak Harbor Road, plus on either end you can get in. But the other side where the ballet school is and where our shop is, it's a little bit more difficult and tricky to maneuver. So, yeah, we have had discussions about that though, for sure.
And specifically because the ballet school, it's all kids.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
making sure that things are covered up, that it's safe for them to.
Yeah, and we made it perfectly clear that that's a main ambulance route.
Okay.
So the construction company, we had our pre-construction meeting, they're very, very clear on our stance on making sure that road is passable no matter what. And I can tell you right now, if an ambulance needs down there, they will move. And they've been told, you will move if an ambulance needs down there. So we're not
The
gonna get
engineer
pressed like
explained
this.
it that it would go down to one lane either way, they would shift open traffic to one side while they worked on the other side, and then flipped it over and they worked on the other side.
Yeah, for,
It's open passable, it'll just be,
that's the fastest way to complete the project.
Yeah.
That's the fastest way to do it. So that's what we're trying to do, is get this done. This is gonna be, it's gonna be a little bit of an inconvenience for a while, but, after it's done, it's gonna be nice, so.
That's how it always is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an
Ken,
inconvenience for-
real quick, back to the Hayes and Buckland.
Hayes and Buckland.
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest maybe in some of those pedestrian areas, either decorative pavers or decorative concrete. Maybe one would work better than the other, but it would both look nice and raise the awareness of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if the pavers would work on the Route 6 side. but
That's actually a truck route, so I don't know if
That's
we
what
can
I'm
put the
saying, I don't
pavers
think
in
it work
there.
there, but maybe decorative.
I can
concrete
talk to the
somewhere.
engineers. I know it's not in the plans right now because we didn't budget for it.
Sure.
But I can talk to the engineer about it. But at the very least, we're gonna make sure that it's painted.
Well, that's good.
At the very, very least, because it's not right now, and
Yeah.
it's aggravating to me.
Yeah.
I like the idea, the conceptualized idea of like some concrete stamping that beautifies the sidewalk in that area. We
Because
just
the
have to get
concrete, I
that.
think, could withstand the truck
We
traffic.
just
I
have to
think
get that by the auditor, because it's not the curb.
Yeah, sure.
Well, pedestrian flashlights or the tail lights.
Yeah.
The cross lights, like what's over here at the bike trail, is highly effective.
They are too.
and that portion is already in the bid.
We're definitely doing that. We're just,
Yeah, where what's this?
Skid placement for it.
Washington and Hayes.
Yep.
actually Kevin was working on it today.
It's roundabout.
Yeah,